Good morning. Today I wanted to talk about our homes. It's a topic that I've talked about a whole lot. Um, One of the things that I want to emphasize on is that we can't expect everyone to be the same. Everybody's not going to be an organizational clean. Everyone's house is not going to look like a model home. That's unrealistic expectation. Um, Everyone's version of organized and clean in a clean home is different depending on how you grew up or your personality, your character traits. So we are clearly um, still in the midst of a pandemic. It looks like um, there's a likelihood in 2021 that there's going to be a shutdown. Maybe before then, I don't know. So we're probably going to re-enter the world of quarantine again, even though I'm still quarantined. But the people who are all out and about living their lives, there's a possibility that you may go back into quarantine and we may go back to this pandemic and have to revisit this again. So I wanted to talk about this because it's something that comes up on a regular basis, a topic that comes up on a regular basis in my life in particular. So here's how I look. Here's how I look and I view personally our homes in a quarantine. I don't believe COVID-19 and pandemic and quarantine changes the core of who we are. But I do believe no matter who you are, you could be the most efficient, organized person, or you could be the most person with no discipline, um, just no values when it comes to your home, and this pandemic and the quarantine will still affect you. The only thing is that it affects two individuals differently. One individual, they're probably going to use the quarantine as an excuse as the reason why their homes are disorganized and um, it's not representable. You can't just randomly invite someone to your home because your home is always in chaos. You're always running up and down trying to clean the place when someone is coming over versus someone who has control of their home, who has a routine that they do, and their home is always organized and clean. So I believe I talk about this a lot in both of my books. I talk about it in my first book, How to Be in Alignment with God, and I also talk about it a lot in my devotional, particularly intentionally at the beginning of my devotional, because I find that that's when most people are trying to get their lives together at the beginning of the year. I do talk about in the book, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but I also don't believe there's anything wrong with having it. So I intentionally talked about organization and how that affects your healing process for your life. Your home is a representation of what's going on in your head. Your home is a representation of what's going on in your heart. Your home is a representation of what's going on in your life. Yes, the pandemic, COVID-19, studies have shown all over the internet that I have read that it has forced people to be in the kitchen more than normal. I mean, where are you going to go? Even though you can go order a food in a restaurant, you have to do a takeout. And not all people are willing to do that. And not all budgets of the household can afford that. So you find most people in their homes, in their kitchens, spending more time in their homes because they don't have a choice. Now, you take an individual who wasn't disciplined before the pandemic, before the quarantine. This person didn't take pride in their home. This person wasn't organized. Their homes wasn't clean. Their homes wasn't efficient. There was no moving parts of the home with people in the home to run the home in such a way that everybody has a duty, everything is running efficiently in the home. And then boom, COVID-19 hit, your quarantine, there's a pandemic. What do you think is going to happen where if you weren't disciplined before and the pandemic hits, you're already stressed with being quarantined. Now the stress level has risen to a higher amount that you can't even bear because the quarantine has nothing to do with the dysfunctions in your home. The quarantine has everything to do with who you were before the quarantine presents itself. And that's what I wanted to talk about today is because the pandemic in 2020 has allowed us to face ourselves. has allowed us to recognize ourselves. 2020 is somewhat kind of like a mirror. That's why you see so many relationships that are broken up, and so many divorces. So because it allows, you can't run. The people that you've been avoiding your whole entire life. You've been in a relationship, or you've been in a marriage that you shouldn't have been in a long time. Quarantine forces you to be together, and when it forces you to be together, you have to face each other. There's no distractions. So that's all 2020 has done for someone who is not disciplined, someone who had issues prior to quarantine. All it does is shine a light on those issues, and versus someone before the quarantine who had a routine, who was organized, their homes were always efficient. I'm not saying these people don't at some point in time, because I know for me, when I have my home and my home is organized and clean, I have moments, child, I walk in my house, especially when you have a kid, you're like, what the hell? It looked like a hurricane came and rampaged your house. I don't know of anybody, no matter how organized you are, has a clean home 24 hours a day. And if you know that person, please introduce me to that person, because I need to know their secret. It is completely impossible. That means you're not living your life. That means you're worshiping your home. No one's asking anyone here to worship your home, because you have to live in your home. No one wants a house where you can't live in your home. You're supposed to enjoy your everyday life, not worship the things in your life, because when we die, we're leaving those things right here. We can put them in a casket. We still can't take them with us. Okay? So if you were a person who was organized, efficient, your home was always decently ran, we're not talking about perfection here. We're talking about you were a decent person. Your home reflects who you are, because let's be honest, our homes, I don't care who you are, where you live is a representation of your character, no matter who you are. Someone's home is their character. So if your home has a smell to it, your home is dirty, there's always dishes in the sink, the garbage is always pulled up, there's no structure in your home, nobody has their set responsibilities, all the moving parts in the home are moving all different type of directions, there's no consistency, there's no discipline. I'm telling you right now, that means your life is a representation of that. Most likely you have no discipline in your healthy lifestyle. Probably you have a problem eating healthy consistently. Probably you have a problem with other areas in your life. And the reason why I know this, guys, is because I talk about this in my book. In both books, in fact. When I got into a deep depression one time. Very deep, guys. It was very, very bad. And for anyone that knows me, I'm very clean. I don't play with my home. I'm very organized and efficient. I was such in a bad place in my life, in a deep depression in my life. My house was unrecognizable. I had mail piled up. I'm talking about garbage bags of mail. You know those big black garbage bags that we use for outdoors to put the leaves in when we rake the leaves? I had like at least 3 big garbage bags piled up of mail. My closet, every morning I got up to get to work. It took me almost 30 to 45 minutes to rampage my closet to find something to wear. I could never find anything. Everything was disorganized. A friend of mine came over one time and she's like, what is going on? This is not you. What's going on with your home? The reason why I let my home go is because I had let myself go. I had stopped working out. I was functionally depressed, meaning I got up every day and did the things I had to do. Meaning I took a shower, I brushed my teeth, I went to work, I came back home. I drove my kid to dialysis. I did the responsibility as a mother, and I came back home. So on the outside at work, people thought I was okay because when I went to work, I showered, I smelled good, I looked good, I spoke good. I was doing the functional parts that I needed to do at work. I was a great worker. I was punctual. Nobody at my job knew something was wrong with me. No one knew something was wrong with me because I was an exceptional worker. My son didn't know something was wrong with me. My ex-husband didn't know something was wrong with me. The guy that I was dating at the time, which was a complete different guy, I mean, that relationship, he never even asked me how I was doing. That was just a wrong relationship to be in. But he didn't even know anything was wrong with me. I was in this deep depression. And what was going on in my life reflected in my home. And so when my friend came over, she was like, "What is going on?" She goes, "This is not Cece. Why is your home looking like this?" Because the joke in my friends group, they call me the Black Martha Stewart. They said, "What happened to the Black Martha Stewart? Where did she go? What's wrong?" And I looked at my friend and tears running down my face. And I couldn't understand why I was crying. She said, "Cece, what is going on?" I said, "Girl, I don't know." I said, she goes, "You need to go back. You need to get some counseling and you need to get some help." So I started getting therapy. I started getting therapy, and in my therapy, obviously, what was going on inside of me was reflecting in my home. And guess what? My therapist didn't even tell me that. I didn't even discuss my home with my therapist. We were discussing other things in my life. The current relationship that I was in, I had no business being in that relationship. The unhealed parts of me that need to be healed, issues that I was having with certain members of my family. And the weird part is, I didn't have one discussion with my therapist about my home. I just woke up the next day. That one therapy session I had, I kind of felt better. I had let all this stuff off my chest that I had suppressed, that was remaining dormant. So the few questions that my therapist asked me set off a bunch of triggers, and I bawled in my first session. Guys, I was bawling, crying in my first session. I woke up that next morning and I called out of work. And when I called out of work, guys, I cleaned my house from top to bottom. From top to bottom. It took me the whole 24 hours to clean my house from top to bottom. I shredded 3 big black garbage bags of mail. It took me forever to go through my closet. By the time I was done, I'm so mad I never took a before and after picture, because I really wish I could have shared that with you guys. The before and after picture of my house was, I was back. Cece was back. The Black Martha Stewart was back. The B. Smith was back. You know, the person who was inspired by B. Smith and Martha Stewart, she was back. My house, my kitchen, my living room, everything was organized again. Why? It was reflecting who I was starting to be again inside of me. And I know for some people it may sound like a stretch. They're like, "Girl, I know people with nice homes and they're organized and they're all messed up inside." Yeah, that's a possibility, but I'm not saying that's impossible, guys. There are people that are clean and organized, and they're a hot mess. That's all they got going for their lives, is that their house is organized. But I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 people, their house is a reflection of them. I'm not saying that it's impossible to have a clean house, an organized, efficient house, and not be screwed up inside. What I'm telling you is that for me, my home was reflecting me. The more therapy I got, the more I went back to the old me, the consistent me that was cleaning my home, and my home was organized. And I felt better that next morning when I went back to work. I called out in the middle of the week. I think it was a Wednesday. And when I went back to work different, I just went back to work different. I could breathe when I walked in my kitchen and everything was organized and clean. You feel different. You feel different when your home is clean. I don't care who you are. When your home is clean, you just feel clean. You feel different. It changes your attitude. What does your home say about you? What is your home saying about you? Because we can't use COVID-19 as an excuse. We can't use the pandemic as an excuse. And I'm not talking about these moms who are stay-at-home moms or moms who are working and can't keep their house organized. They got kids messing up. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the overall picture of your home, the consistency of your home. What does your home say about you? Because most likely, if your home is not organized, something ain't right in your life. If your home is consistently, here guys, this is the key word that I'm saying here. I'm not saying that your home is messed up. The other day I woke up, I couldn't even recognize my room. I was like, oh my God, I need to clean my room. That's not what I'm talking about, guys. I'm saying consistently, meaning that your home all of the time is a hot mess. Your home is consistently disorganized. Your home consistently smells. Your home consistently has piles of dishes in the sink. Your home consistently has piles of garbage. This is what I'm talking about. Consistency. Because the pandemic and COVID-19 has something to do with that. You are who you are before COVID-19. I know COVID-19 in 2020 has been one of the best things that happened to me. Because this whole what does your home say about you goes into every aspect of our lives. When people say, I've never, I only behave that way because when this person is in my life, my behavior is only like this because of the pandemic. I only act like this when I'm around this person. Or when I'm around this person. No, this is what COVID-19 has taught me about Cece, Chantel. You are who you are. People expose the real you inside of you. You're only responsible for your reaction, not everybody else's reaction. Every word that comes out of my mouth, every behavior that I exhibit is a behavior that I have to own myself. I choose to say what the things that I say. I choose to behave the way that I behave. The way I behave is no bearing on my environment and no bearing on anybody else around me. Because when you truly have peace anchored inside of you, no one can really take it. Now, we can't put the responsibility of the decisions that we make in our lives on anyone else or the status of the country. It just all conflict and hard situations do is expose who we really are. That's what it does. When I was in my deep depression, all someone had to do was walk in my home or walk in my car and tell me who I was. I had let my car go. I had let my home go. And anyone that knows me know I don't play that mess. But I was so deep into the depression that I didn't even recognize it. When you get in someone's car, how disgusting their car is a representation of them. How clean their car is a representation of them. Your home is a representation of you. The consistency, keyword is the consistency in your home. Because these perfect people around here that have homes that look like models and you're not living in your home, you got special plates that you only eat at special time, child, please. I don't believe in all that mess. I believe you live. Enjoy your house. Live in your house, but take your foot. People who don't put their foot on their couch and don't put their foot on a coffee table, get out of here. Enjoy your couch. Are you going to take the couch with you when you die? These special plates. Why do we have special plates? Eat on the plates now. I don't believe in all that stuff. Enjoy your house. Live in your house. Enjoy your life. And like Joyce Meyer says, enjoy your everyday life. This is not what I'm talking about. We're all going to have messy places. I told you, I woke up the other day. I was like, what the heck is going on in this room? And I had to clean it because I can't function in dysfunction. So what is your home saying about you? Because it could be a representation of who you want to be, who you are, or who you're going to be. So what does your home say about you? Because if your home is dysfunctional, most likely you are too. If you take a look at your life and you take a piece of paper and you start writing things down in your life, most likely the relationships in your life are unstable and dysfunctional. The consistency of your health is unstable and dysfunctional. Your encounter with people, your car, everything. What is your home saying about you?